Diddy's lawyer, Mark Geragos, didn't sugarcoat a thing. He came straight out and said it.
Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank it once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or killed in prison. And so they're going to have to keep him somewhere that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp, but he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him because he is a target.
Diddy's already being treated like a target. Apparently, there's been a serious scare inside the MDC where someone actually tried to come at him with a weapon. The attack didn't go through, but just the fact that it happened sent a clear message. People are out for him, and that changes everything. Now, it's no shock that Diddy's desperate for help. Geragos laid it out plain. Danger in prison isn't some rare story.
He was going to be doing this documentary before the arrest, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, because the footage that he used, that he featured in this documentary, happened after he announced he was going to be doing the documentary.
Yeah. Yeah.
How lucky was that? What a find. What a find that was. Like, let's think about that. He announced he was going to be doing the documentary December 2023 with Netflix. And the star footage that you use to get people to re-upload or resubscribe to Netflix to make this the number one in their TV shows division for almost 2 weeks straight. Beating out Stranger Things. How much stranger is that?
I'm not betting.
This footage didn't even exist when you said you were going to be doing this documentary. So we've got a videographer, a road videographer that has this very, very, very explosive, very explosive footage of him literally sitting on camera, planning how to go after survivors, how to poison the jury pool, how to fix his trial in advance before he's even arrested. I mean, like, is anybody not forgetting when Mark Agnifilo was sitting there talking to the sons in the hallway, and they're sitting there filming, and he's sitting up there, well, see, what we gotta do is we gotta go and we gotta put countersuits on all of these people.
Fights break out, people get jumped, and when you're high profile, rich, and have a name like Diddy, the stakes shoot sky high. That's why Geragos said the authorities will have to keep him somewhere secure where he's under constant watch. Not because he's demanding special treatment, but because the threat hanging over him is very real.
It's set up to make it seem like Diddy is the only bad guy, when it's keeping out a lot of other people that were involved, who had their hands involved in all kinds of things, which also makes it vulnerable for people to go after it. Like I said, it's very clever. It's very, very, very clever.
Now,
it's just enough to make you hate the whole situation, but there's just enough misplaced and put in the wrong situation, and this added here, and this for you to be able to still have reasonable doubt on whether or not any of this stuff is real. Yeah.
Would you call the documentary educational, informational, entertaining? Like, what would you say this documentary?
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
And it's sad because there's a lot of stuff in there that's true. But there's enough left out to create doubt. And that's the same thing that happened with the trial. Actually, with the trial, it was a lot worse because with the trial, there was just a lot of stuff left out. There was more stuff in this documentary that was in the trial. Half of the stuff in this documentary should have been presented at the trial. Can you imagine if they had had any testimony from Little Rod and the footage that he had from that incident, that firearm incident where the guy G was damn near mortally wounded and was losing his life, and the footage that he had from that? Can you imagine if that had been shown to the jury?
Jaguar Rit also chimed in, asking how a man who once moved with so much confidence now feels when all that power is stripped away. When those cell doors slam shut, there's no crowd, no entourage, no spotlight, just silence and reality. And she didn't hold back when mocking his public image either. Jaguar flat out said Diddy was no man of God, claiming instead that he worshipped the devil himself. She went even further, saying that the 50 Cent documentary painted Diddy as the only villain, while completely erasing others who played roles behind the curtain.
Yeah, he got everybody going, man. He's getting a lot of backlash, man. Like, people are like mad at 50 for getting behind this thing.
Well, see, the thing about it is that people are out there rabbit mind, and they gonna sit up here and they gonna say some stuff like, yo, they try to make it up like, it's because of a girl, it's because of a woman. A man that can have any woman in the damn world, you understand, go any parts of the world, find beautiful women all over the world, that's willing to do whatever he wants to. I'ma be mad because this dude got this one? Nah, it's bigger and it's more than that. They don't wanna say it. A lot of these cats out here don't wanna tell the truth behind shit.
That kind of imbalance, she said, doesn't shield him, it isolates him. It leaves him standing alone in a place where being alone can get you hurt fast. Jaguar did admit, though, not everything being said in those videos was false. When the talk shifted to the Quad Studio shooting and Jimmy Henchman, she agreed that a lot of what was said was technically true, but something big was missing.
Here, try to stop you from eating and everything like that. Diddy was a part of that too. He was a part of that. Because he was telling the executives and people, don't mess with him. Just picture this, bro. He knew he could write. He knew 50 had talent. You understand? Why 50 ain't get a deal in New York City?
Facts, yeah. They had him blackballed. I mean, I think even Irv Gotti talked about it in an interview that he blackballed him.
Right, but hold up, it ain't only Irv Gotti, because Puff had a voice just as much, or probably more than Irv. If Puff would have said, yo, I'm gonna sign this kid, who's gonna stop him? Why he didn't sign him? He wrote some of his best lyrics. You understand? Let's get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the whole thing about it is, man, and now these dudes out here want to portray like I supposed to love my enemy. Man, I don't turn the cheek, all that shit like that, no Diddy. I don't turn the cheek, I don't fuck around like that. But the whole thing about it is, if in fact somebody gonna pay me to get at my enemy, and I'm gonna get a piece of that PC.
And that missing piece, according to her, was context. To Jaguar, none of this was random. It was a message. She circled back to that documentary and made it clear her biggest problem wasn't just what they showed, but what they didn't. She said the whole thing painted one man, Diddy, as the mastermind behind everything, while quietly erasing everyone else who had a hand in it. That kind of storytelling, she said, makes the whole thing look too polished, too controlled, and that's dangerous. Because when you single one person out as the villain, you're not telling the full truth. You're creating a target. Jaguar also side-eyed the timing of it all. Why did all this information drop after the verdict and sentencing?
I think that he just really is into sex. He like recording girls and then
him getting with 50 Cent's baby mother was definitely like a power move.
Oh yeah.
And then he records, so he keeps these recordings. So what I was thinking is like, what if he can be on some shit like, if he really want to get at it, like, look at your baby mama getting on these dudes,
Right,
like
getting slipped out.
Yeah, getting slipped out, like to really piss him off. Like maybe I feel like sometimes, I feel like he uses the recordings for leverage, low key.
Yeah, because I've been around Diddy before. I've been at parties with him. There's no shortage of women that are approaching him, right? So out of all the billions of women in the world, you pick the baby mother of someone who doesn't like you.
Right.
And do you feel that this was like him doing that on purpose to get back at 50?
Definitely. It was definitely like a revenge or beef type thing to get with his baby mother.
Why was the documentary even announced a whole year before the trial started, before any raids, before the arrests, and yet somehow had footage that didn't even exist when it was first announced? That didn't sound like coincidence to her. It sounded planned. Then she pointed out how public perception was being quietly shaped behind closed doors. Jaguar mentioned clips showing legal strategies being discussed openly, talk about counterclaims, headline manipulation, and efforts to sway public opinion before any charges were even filed. Somehow, those clips appeared online for a brief moment and then vanished without a trace.
I guess that's Hollywood, though. Hollywood, everybody know each other pretty much. But still, though, you know that she knew who he was. She knew that her baby father didn't like him, and she didn't like him either. So I'm sure she got with him for a reason.
Oh, so she was doing it too?
Yeah.
Oh, they were both doing it.
They
I
both
didn't even
didn't
think
like
about
the
it that
dude,
way.
so
Yeah, that's a good
they
point.
just clicked up. And like he informed me, like he had multiple girlfriends. So of course she wasn't his only girl. Like he would see her maybe a couple after a couple months, every couple months.
Well, that's just with you though. That's just with you.
Nah, he would like literally see her every couple months.
Oh, he told you that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
Because Don the Dealer was the first like threesome they had. So, and he was meeting up with them on a regular basis. He even mentioned after his houses were raided, he went to like the Miami mansion and met up with them again. They were talking about it.
I ain't never been to the Miami mansion or nothing. I used to go to different hotels and stuff, but we've met in Miami at hotels and whatnot.
Well, you guys never discussed price, but at the end you did get paid.
Yeah.
That's when Jaguar dropped the million-dollar question: who lost it and who found it? And honestly, it's a fair question, because this whole thing seems too clean to be random. But here's where it gets wild. What could possibly drive 50 Cent to go this hard, to completely tear down Diddy's name like this? Gene Deal had the answer. He revealed that back in 50's early days, before the fame and power, he was ghostwriting for other artists, building his name from the shadows and slowly climbing the industry ladder. He was supposed to be the next big name out of New York, the one everybody was betting on. But then everything flipped. One move, one betrayal, and his whole path took a dark turn. So when people ask why 50 Cent shows zero love toward Diddy, Gene Deal doesn't hesitate. If someone helped block your shine, isolated you from your circle, and was connected to folks who wanted you out of the game, you don't forget that. Gene said it plain: you don't forgive that kind of thing. You don't smile it off, and you definitely don't start playing nice after that kind of history. Then comes Sly Diggler, who drops even more fire on the story. He paints Diddy as a man obsessed with control, not just in music or business, but in every part of life. According to Sly, Diddy didn't move out of fun or feelings. He moved with strategy. Every decision felt like it had a hidden motive, something planned out behind the scenes. And the one thing that stood out the most, Diddy's decision to get involved with 50 Cent's child's mother. Sly said it didn't make sense if you looked at it casually. This wasn't about options. Diddy had plenty. I'd see him at parties, and women were always around him. So why pick someone tied so directly to a man he already had issues with? To Sly, it felt deliberate, like straight-up revenge. He said it came across as something personal, not passion, but payback. Sly also shared that he never went to Diddy's huge mansions. Their meetups usually went down in hotels instead. He said he was paid the first time, and after that, the money changed, depending on how long things went on. Some nights stretched way longer than most could handle. He described hangouts that started late at night and didn't wrap up until the next afternoon, sometimes lasting almost the whole day. Even with all that, Sly said the communication between them stayed cool and casual. They texted like regular people, keeping things chill. One time when he needed help covering a hotel bill, she even sent him money. Whenever he was in town, they'd sometimes link up again. One of the quickest meetups happened out in Los Angeles. Short, unexpected, but still intense. Everything in Los Angeles was set up fast and ended just as fast. Sly said the whole thing felt strange from the start. Even the little details didn't sit right. He mentioned that the marijuana he was offered didn't taste normal at all. "I know what real weed is," he explained, explaining he'd spent plenty of time in LA, and whatever that was, it wasn't the usual. Something about it just felt off. When Sly broke down his story, he made it clear he didn't see what happened as any kind of crime or coercion. He described the moments as social scenes, parties, hangouts, and money exchanged afterwards. To him, at that time, nothing about it seemed illegal or threatening. But when he was asked if he ever felt taken advantage of, that's when his tone changed. He admitted straight, yeah, in the end, he did feel used. What really made that feeling stick, he said, was how fast the communication disappeared after everything went down. Once the situation ended, so did the connection. No more check-ins, no texts, no pretending to be friends. It was like the whole thing never happened. The moment it stopped being useful, it was over. And when Sly was asked if he'd ever go back, if Diddy ever reached out again, even waving more money around, his answer caught everyone off guard. Gene Deal didn't hold back when he talked about the drama surrounding 50 Cent. He said a lot of people are out here accusing 50 Cent of snitching on Diddy, all because of what showed up in that documentary, especially the parts tied to Tupac and the clips involving Keef D. That's where the controversy exploded. Some folks said that kind of footage should have never been included and that 50 was out of line for letting it drop. But Gene saw it completely differently. He said people are getting it twisted, that 50 wasn't even making the final decisions on what went in or out. According to him, the narrative people are running with just doesn't match the truth. And when it comes to the ones still defending Diddy, Gene said his whole perspective shifted over time. At first, he thought people were just chasing access, the parties, the fame, the power, but then it hit him. It wasn't just about wanting that life, it was about relating to it. He said they're not defending the man, they're defending the behavior. And now, with everything surfacing, Gene said it plain, they're all getting exposed. If you're keeping up with this wild story, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more updates, because this saga isn't slowing down anytime soon.